Good morning, Ed here on April the 20th, on Monday. New week, starting today with a view on the bigger picture. I will show you two different scenarios I am looking at for Bitcoin. But first start with what happened over the weekend. Well, I didn't trade over the weekend. Last week, Friday was my last update, and at that time I was expecting a move from here towards this level. It didn't happen. We did have a choppy weekend. I didn't trade because look, this isn't a good example. We ripped higher but immediately fell back and more or less fully retraced that move from Saturday. We retraced it on Sunday. And over here, you see we are creeping higher. And yeah, basically nothing happened. And that's what I see more and more over the weekends. These kind of pumps, they lead to nothing. And I just stay away. If we go to the bigger picture, on my support resistance chart, you can see not really a lot happening. Since here we are still in this range, it's very boring, very slow price action. When there is price action, it's often happening in 1 hour candle, and then it's back to going sideways. And what makes it pretty tricky to trade? Last week, for instance, I was constantly looking, every day looking for a trade. I made a silly mistake by, I think it was over here, not shorting here. But for instance, this one, I missed this move because when I woke up, it was already pumping. And the rest of the week just didn't give me any good setups, which is quite annoying. If we look at this 4-hour chart on support resistance, you can see we broke the resistance at 6,900 more or less, but we never have had a good retest of that level. And that's what I want to see. Of course, it's getting ugly if we get a move lower and break it to the downside, then we have to be careful for more downside. But for now, I would like to see a retest of 6,900, which is also a good indication is the RSI and the MACD. This move over the weekend, well, basically from last Thursday when we had that pump, that move higher came with bearish divergence. So the momentum is gone. There is less power in this move up as it was over here. And yeah, you can also see it in the candles. Often I don't need to open these indicators. I often see it already in the candles. It's creeping up. And yeah, you could also say there is some kind of bearish flag here. Well, it's not really a bearish flag, but it is, I often call it a reversal channel, because after a strong impulsive move up and you see it going up slowly, creeping up with bearish divergence, it's 9 out of 10. It is the sign that you will see a correction coming, and that would be here, logical, that retest of 6,800. Now, if I go to my Elliott Wave chart, there are a couple of scenarios I'm looking at, which are gonna play, I hope to see play out over the coming days. First of all, we did have this kind of rising wedge. We broke to the downside in this corrective channel, and with this pump on Thursday, we broke to the upside. Are we going to move higher towards, let's say, 8,000, or are we going to see a deeper correction? Well, we broke this corrective channel. You could argue that it would be logical to see here also that retest of that breakout channel. Doesn't really need to do it, but could happen. There are two Elliott West scenarios which are interesting here, and which is also causing why I'm a bit in doubt. First, we do have this 5 legs move. Let me park 3 and 4, 5 over there, and then you have here. So you have leg 1 up, 2, and then another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, it was like this. Sorry for that. 3, 4, 5. Meaning ending. Let's make this one a different. Ending leg number 3. Yellow 3. So 1, 2, 3, and 3 is formed by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This would be 4th leg, the correction, and then the 5th leg. That is a possibility, and that's also because I do see here this strong impulsive move in 5 legs. I will explain. I can show you here on the lower time frame. Look, this was the bounce from the green box I showed last week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what we actually right now are doing. 5 legs could see here A, B, C down again to 6,900 and then up again for that move to yellow 5. The other possibility is this move that we already completed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, officially 4 is over here. And then we would have a correction here, A, B, C. I think that should see a bigger correction because if you look at the Fibonacci levels, come on, yeah, there it is. 0, 1, 6.8. You can see it only retraced to the 236, and on the bigger picture, this is just the first leg. Well, I do think we do have to bottom in, but this would be first leg, second leg, and then the third leg much higher to the upside. And it's very uncommon that the first leg is retracing only to the 236. So as long as we are below this yellow 5, we have chance of making this bigger correction. So what do I expect now? Do we get this move lower? So let me repeat, A, B, C. Or didn't we finish this move? This was just a correction, and do we make a move towards 8,000? That's what bothers me, where I'm puzzling. So I took a look at Ether, and don't forget this. Look here, this is the top, and we are right now here. Now look at Ether. Ether is much higher. Ether is much higher, and already did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's now in the 5th leg, and I do think this is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is going. If this is going to play out, Ether, I think will go much higher as 195, the resistance. So I do think that Ether is telling me what's going to happen with Bitcoin. So 3 is here. We only did a correction in 4, and we do have to make one more move to the upside, meaning like this. So that's what I want to go for right now. And now I have to see if I can get in here. And also if I'm correct. Look here, once again, this is an impulsive move. This would be your first leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can see here also that first leg, when we use Fibonacci levels, again, only retrace to the 236. And I think it would be much more logical to see a deeper correction after the first leg up. First leg is usually correcting back to the golden pocket 0.5, 0.618 on the fib levels. Now, if I look at the current move, you could say here is coming an ABC. So we did 5 up, then a correction. If I look for equal legs, well, let me measure it. Then my green box should be in this level. It's a possible bounce area. And look where we are, 6,009 to 6,900, which is also the support resistance I showed you in the first chart. And I do think that we should see that move coming. And then we do have this move, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like this. The only problem I have here is but that could be weekend chop. Look here, this is the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and an A, B, C up. So if I purely look at the pattern of this move, this looks like 5 down, 3 up, maybe a bit more up, then another 5 down, 3 up, and another leg down. This could be the start of an impulsive move much lower, which is again what I showed you, the correction like this. I doubt, but this could be then when 5 is in place over here, that we did have here first leg down, and that we do make that bigger correction to the downside. Then we would have here an A, B, and then a C in 5 legs to the downside. But I'm now going for the scenario that I do think we should see one more leg up, and best would be if we do get one more leg to the downside. I'm going to my trading chart where I look at ranges. This is the 4-hour range. Look, we are above that range high, and could see a retest here again, 6,900. If I go to the hourly chart, forget the 4-hour range, then I see this. We have a range from here, range low, range high. We swept the highs here and came down. We got rejected this morning at the range high. And as long as we stay below, I do think we can make the move towards here, because all the people, all the traders who went long in this chop, they will have the stops below here. So a move below these stops and then up. That's what I hope for to trade. Right now I'm not in a short. If I do see another rejection like this, I might look for a short. But this morning when I updated the group, we were around here. I've thought this is not a very interesting setup. Where we were over here. But if we see another rejection from a bit higher and I manage to get in, then I might try to get this move. When am I wrong? Of course, I don't have a crystal ball. Only when I see a clear break of the range high, a retest, and then continuation to the upside, then I will look for a long position from here, more or less. And then towards 8,000. But for now, when I look at this pattern, this looks very shallow to me, fragile, and in my opinion, it would be logical on several charts to see that moved towards 6,009, maybe even 6,800. It's in this range. It is based on Fibonacci levels, Elliott Wave, to see this move. So for today, I might stay on the sideline for the short. It is corrective. I don't like to trade corrective moves. It's usually a scalp. And only if I do see a interesting risk reward, then I might look for it. But that is really a short-term decision. Otherwise, I will look for a long from more or less this level to the upside. If I see acceleration to the downside here, then I will be reminded of that I did see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. And let me go back to this chart. When I do see acceleration to the downside and break this range low, a bearish retest, then I will look for the bigger move, which I showed you in this chart, which was like this, A, B, C, towards 5,800. That's it for today, guys. When I do get a good sign which direction we are heading, I will tweet a trade setup, which I think has a nice risk reward. Until then, sitting on my hands and on the sideline and waiting for some good entries. Thanks for watching. Have a good week.